But yes, the judge's decision this morning sided almost completely, as far as I could tell. I don't understand Hebrew. The decision was read to me was translated partially, but from what I understand, the judge completely accepted the position of the state of Israel in their arguments.
Does this end your struggle?
Our struggle has been long. Rachel was killed nearly 10 years ago on March 16, 2003. We are considering, of course, what the court did today, but our attorney feels very strongly that this should be appealed to the Israeli Supreme Court. And our family will need to talk with him more, learn more about what was said in the decision today. But my expectation is, what I know is that we do not have accountability for what happened to Rachel. And that what happened in the court today, what we've seen at the end of this process, is not justice. It is not accountability. And I expect that we'll be taking further steps.
Why do you feel that justice hasn't been done if both a military investigation and a civil court have come to the same conclusion? First
of all, pointing to that investigation, there was a military police investigation that was completed in 2003. It found no fault, said no regulations were broken, and it declined to give its report to the U.S. government. We were subsequently able to read it. So were members of the American Embassy staff. They and our family, when we read the report, found inconsistencies in the testimonies, inconsistencies in what soldiers said happened on that day. There were also statements of misfact in the military police investigation. For example, it said that there was a U.S. consular presence at the autopsy that was performed on Rachel, when in fact it took us years to determine that was completely false. We were able to hear from that investigator in court, the lead investigator in the case. He stated that it was his personal opinion that in Gaza the military was at war with everyone, including the peace activists. It hardly seems to us that someone with that, coming from that point of view, could conduct a transparent, impartial investigation. Just a couple of the things that we know. Those investigators never got inside a D9 bulldozer to find out for themselves possibly what could be seen from the bulldozer. They never went to the site. There were discrepancies from the very beginning between the two soldiers who were in the cab of that bulldozer, and those discrepancies remain. We brought attention to them. They're serious discrepancies between their testimony. That was never addressed by this judge, as far as I know at this point, and also not by the state at all. And it's not only my position and my family's position that the investigation was faulty. That is the position of the U.S. government. It's remained since 2004, when we first received in writing from Colin Powell's chief of staff a statement saying that the investigation was not thorough, credible, and transparent. And I just would add that part of the problem in bringing a civil lawsuit is that you have to rely on information from investigation previously. So our case was hampered greatly by what happened initially, by the investigation that happened initially here.
As you've mentioned, the case has already touched upon the U.S. diplomatic role. Would you like to, is there anything more the U.S. could do for your struggle?
All along, the U.S. government, many individuals have been very supportive of us, and we appreciate their efforts greatly. We have had very recent communication with high levels of our government here at the American Embassy with Ambassador Shapiro, who restated that the position of the U.S. government had remained unchanged about accountability in Rachel's case and investigation. And we've also had communications with the Department of State, also with people in the White House. We appreciate their attention to the matter. We expect to be meeting with them. I think it's for all of us, but certainly for members of the U.S. government to determine what further can happen as well. For one thing, there was a promise from Prime Minister Sharon to President Bush that there would be a thorough, credible, and transparent investigation. And it's the position of the U.S. government that still hasn't happened. So there is a diplomatic promise yet to be met and an issue, therefore, to be resolved. I'd also say that in 2008, we received a letter from the head of Citizen Services at the Department of State. She said that questions continued to go to the Israeli government about Rachel's case, and that those questions went ignored or unanswered. And I find the behavior, hearing this, I find the behavior of the Israeli government, their response, not befitting of a friend. And I count on the support of people within our government to continue to be with our family to find some accountability for this.
All right, thank you very much, Cindy Corrie.
Thank you for having me.